What sort of knowing was there for the protagonists in each of the stories at the beginning of the story? And then what sort of knowing developed and changed and evolved over the story, over the course of the particular story, so that by the time the story comes to an end, there's a whole different knowing. There's a whole different knowing. And when we talk about wisdom, we talk about panya, we're talking about a certain type of knowing or a discernment, a comprehension or an insight that's grounded in reality as it is, as opposed to the reality as we know it to be. Because the reality as we know it to be is so often grounded in our conditioning, our unwholesome habits, or our unskillfulness, our lack of skillfulness. In fact, the Pali word for panya is actually a combination of two other words. There's the pa, which stands for rightly, that's what it translates as, and the nya part is to know. So literally, panya is right knowing. So in our cultivation of wisdom, we want to see what is wholesome versus what is unwholesome, what's skillful versus what is unskillful. And we develop this wisdom in three ways. There's the ways that we learn. We learn by reading, we learn by seeing, by hearing, by observing. And then there's the next part of developing wisdom that has to do with our capacity for reflecting and contemplating and evaluating. We take what we learned and we contemplate it, and we look at it. I listened to a talk this morning on a topic that I hadn't really known much about and thought much about. And I can observe myself in these two parts of learning. There's the part of hearing things that I had not known, taking it in. And then there was the next part of me turning it over in my mind and bringing up questions and trying to understand it. Well, what about that? And what about that aspect of it? That's the contemplation and the evaluation aspect of learning. And then there's the part of wisdom where we cultivate our mental development. And this is the part that we engage in together. This is meditation practice. In this practice, we have the opportunity to really engage with some of the panya, the two panya parts, the two aspects of the Eightfold Path that comprise panya, that comprise wisdom. These are right view. Right view is comprised of understanding the Four Noble Truths, understanding that the true nature of all phenomena is its impermanence, and that it's ever changing, that our experiences ultimately are unsatisfactory or challenging, and also that it involves non-self. The self as we experience it to be is really not fundamentally true. And also we have the opportunity through right view to see how everything is really conditioned and also interdependent, interconnected with each other. The other part of the Eightfold Path that is the section on wisdom is right intention. And we've been talking and working and sitting and practicing with right intention, including intentions of renunciation and loving kindness and compassion. Yeah, here's one more story for you. There's a young couple, madly in love, sitting together at a restaurant. They can't stop Googling and goggling over each other. The food is an afterthought. They're lost in each other's presence. And they notice a couple sitting on the other side of the restaurant, an elderly couple sitting across from each other and not really looking at each other, looking down at their food and eating pretty much in silence. And she turns to him and she says, "You see that couple over there? We're never going to be like that. That's not us. Look at this connection that we have. This amazing connection." He's like, "Yeah, absolutely. It's not going to be us." As they're finishing and they're leaving the restaurant, they need to walk by that couple. And he says to her, "Look." And under the table, they were holding hands the entire time. So there's this experience of direct knowing and direct seeing that's only available for us when we become open to the likelihood, the high likelihood, that until we become conscious and intentional about this, we're not really looking with clear seeing. There's a mixture of what we see and what we think we see. The way we see and what there actually is are often not the same in very meaningful ways, in very meaningful ways. So I've been playing this game with myself. And it's a game that could be played on and off the cushion. What's really happening right now? So if I'm seeing, what am I really seeing? What am I really taking in? If I'm experiencing, I tell myself I'm experiencing something a certain way in my body, and then I ask myself, what am I really experiencing? Or I might ask myself in the midst of a situation that I'm in with my family or in work, in a session with a client, what's really happening right now? What's really happening right now? And never have I yet answered the question in exactly the way that it was being experienced, or in the way that I was feeling, or in the way that I was seeing before I asked myself the question. Something new or different in some way is always available in that moment. Sariputta, who was one of the primary disciples of Buddha, said, "The purpose of wisdom, friend, the purpose of wisdom is direct knowledge. And its purpose is full understanding. And its purpose is abandoning." So abandoning is the practice of renunciation. And abandoning is the willingness and the commitment to letting go of a particular viewpoint or perspective or narrative that we've been holding in order to become available for direct knowledge and full understanding. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so let's take some time, get to know in a little bit more of a full way what's happening right here, right now in the body. Opening the body, shaking out the body. And let's really invite ourselves to bring this inquiry with us into the practice today. See if we can experience right view. just in these simple questions, in these simple inquiries, what is happening? And so inviting ourselves back into our chosen posture for practice. With a kind and friendly invite for sitting. I'm reminded of the story that I shared about the rabbi. When I sit down and practice, I like to ask myself this question: am I practicing like I'm just used to practicing, or am I practicing right here, right now? We develop our habits and our conditioning with everything, including our practice, including our meditation practice. Will clear seeing for today be supported by open eyes or closed eyes? Will clear seeing for today be supported by choosing a particular object for your attention, like the breath or sounds? Or perhaps it feels more supportive to have more of an open awareness, noticing what's arising in the moment. Sitting with this open inquiry as an invite to ourselves. What is being seen? When we ask ourselves what we are seeing, we're really asking ourselves, what is present right now to see? This sort of inquiry of what is happening right now, what is unfolding, what is being seen, what is being experienced. Always being asked through right intention, through a voice that's kind and caring, non-judging. These are questions that are being asked through tenderness and supportiveness. What is being experienced right now? Can we see and hear the narrating and the storytelling? The filtering, the selective attention? Giving ourselves a mental gold star for every moment of noticing. Noticing the skillful as much as the unskillful, and the wholesome as much as the unwholesome. Noticing moments when deeper settling occurs. Feeling into the experience of deeper settling. If attention stops jumping around so much, settles down a bit more, stabilizes. inviting ourselves in the last couple of minutes of the sit today to settle back in with the question. And this question is an invite. What's happening?